All right, guys, let's continue or welcome back. So, so let me first share my screen. One minute, please. Okay, so let's continue, guys, with the next topic. We are into the process of learning the core services of AWS under a program called AWS CSA, and multiple service, guys, we have already deal with and explain. I already explain you conceptually with multiple different use cases, and plus also explain you practically, right? Or I can say demonstrate you practically. So if you want to implement, or maybe if you want to integrate, maybe um, uh, each other, right? And so we can do it, right? Even though there's lots of more services is there, right? So intention is to pick one by one services, explain you every bit of it, and we will again go through those services one more time to understand more in depth, all right, in my upcoming classes. So so today's my plan is to start one more service. There is a new service for today. It's called RDS. It's called Relational Database Services. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. We are going to discuss about RDS. Maybe if we got some extra time, we'll discuss some very basics about some other services, right? Or maybe service whatever we discussed till date, we will discuss on those part, right? But the main topic and main plan for today is just the RDS. Very much useful service. Okay, and we need this kind of service a lot. So what exactly the RDS is? So let me explain you in this way. If you guys want to store data so that in the future you can retrieve your data for some kind of analysis perspective, all right, or maybe some kind of analytics perspective. So normally, if you want to store data in some kind of in somewhere as a permanent, so you can store your data in a file system, right, like NFS server, or maybe in your hard disk like EBS. Okay, so EBS is one of the service. NFS, or I can say EFS, is one of the service where you can, or maybe S3 is one of the service where you can store your data to make it permanent. But if you want to store data in some format, okay, not like in a raw format. If you want to store your data in some format where if you want to retrieve certain rows and if you want to retrieve certain columns, or you want to do some analysis on the top of those data, so normally we prefer to store our data again in storage, means permanent, and or I can say the persistent, but but we use certain format. Okay, and there the use of database come in play. So database is a one kind of, you can think, is one kind of server or one kind of program that give us a capability to store a data in a certain format. Yeah, right? And for different purpose, we have a different kind of format available. Okay, so I'm not going to a core database discussion, but if you guys know database, you guys might know the use of the database. Okay, so today's plan is a little bit different. But if you highly divide a database into two part, so one kind of database work on RDBMS way, okay, or RDBS use cases, and one we have a no SQL use cases, means not only SQL, okay, or RDBMS. So it's depend upon what kind of use cases you have. uh, in the simple format, if you have any record that are some kind of if you purchase some item, right, so and you have to maintain the inventory of your of your items or something like this. So if you want to create a table, something where you say I have item A with this price, and total three items we have in our stock, right? Or somebody has purchased some item from us. This is the total amount they paid, or or maybe salary or XYZ. So so I think you guys know this, but if you have this kind of requirement where you want to store some information, right, or some transaction informations, right, there normally we use RDMS. But if you have different kind of data to be stored, maybe a graph database, key value pair, document databases, or maybe any other kind of databases, so we have a NoSQL. So we have some discussion on this, right, of NoSQL. But today, my plan is, if you want to create a database that has a capability of RDBMS, right, kind of capability, I can say in this way, then Amazon is providing you a facility where they give you a database as a service. Okay, DBAS, database as a service, and name of that service, of the database service is called RDS. Okay, so for today's class, there is no need to know a database beforehand, because Amazon say, you want to use any of the product. For example, RDBMS is just a concept. Okay, to implement this concept, there's a lot of product available in the market. So one of the product would be Oracle, for example, or one of the product would be Postgres, for example, or maybe one of the product maybe MySQL, for example, or Microsoft SQL. So there are a lot of product available in the market, who can provide a facility of RDBMS, and they can give you database services. Okay, but for setting up the databases, you have to first download the software, pay the license, set up the environment, install the software, and before install the software, configure your operating system, networking, securities, tune those system, and maybe you have a huge load or some kind of other requirement. You might have to create high availability clusters and replicas. So tons of things, guys, we can do, because database is one of the very critical thing for any of the uh, project or any of the use cases. Okay, so Amazon is taking this responsibility. They say, you just tell me which product you want to use, right, for the database services, and for RDBMS facility. I will give you pre-configured, or I will spawn for you. I will take care of the entire entire connectivity part, and I can say I can completely provision this database for you. Okay, so if you guys if you are looking for database services, then we have a service called RDS. This is called Relational Database Service. So now it is your choice. 5 or 6 databases they are giving you. Which database is you think you have to use for your project? Accordingly, you will go and click and install. So technically, RDS is a managed service. You don't have to manage your database. Just go and install it. Okay, so if I say in this format, and by the meantime, let me also log into my account, so it will save our time. What battery? Okay, so uh, so if you want to set up database server or database services, one of the option is you go to EC2, launch one Linux or Windows instance, manually download the product, for example, MySQL product, and install it software and set up the environment. Okay, it takes a lot of time, and it's not about the time. We might use some kind of automation script. The automation script will automatically configure this guy for you. For example, maybe you can use Ansible or some other tool, Puppet or SAF. So it will set up the databases for you on the top of the issued instance. So configuring might not be so much big deal, but big deal is to manage this guy. Okay, because if MySQL server is running on the top of EC2 instance, so we have to take care the security part, or we have to take care the backup part, or we have to take care if by chance if one of the hardware fail, my entire OS goes down, or my database goes down. And database is one of the most critical unit. Okay, because our application is purely based, uh, purely dependent on my backend layer or database layer or data layer of whatever the database you use behind the scene. Okay, so my point is here is, uh, we don't have to now worry about installing the the databases, plus managing these databases. So installing till managing, every type part can be would be taken care by AWS. And interesting thing is, if sudden load increase, they will internally balance this load by spawning some more extra instances. Okay, that facility also we can achieve. And there's a lot of things in the database world we require. So almost what are the common facility they require in the database, they will provide to us. So I have a quick discussion on the other facilities also, but I just want to tell you very high level that Amazon is providing you a database service. Okay, and all the commonly used databases product they will give you. You don't have to launch EC2 instance, and you don't have to configure, and main thing is you don't have to manage. Everything is managed by these guys. Okay, so that is a main thing here. So very simple service, but very much useful service. What is happening here? Why this link is not clickable? One minute, guys, please. So so let me go for RDS. So if you go to services, and in the services, if you go down, there's a different altogether. We have a different column for the databases, and there's a lot of services here, right? So if you see DynamoDB, ElasticCache, Neptune, DocumentDB, Keyspaces, these are the databases come under the category of NoSQL. Okay, so NoSQL is again a big world. We have a MongoDB, we have a Redis, Memcached, Cassandra, Neo4j, Giraffe, tons of databases we have for different use cases. I will talk about the NoSQL use cases, right, in upcoming classes. But here today I'm talking about RDS only. Okay, is a relational database. Okay, so what is use of relational database? This is not the class for databases. Okay, but if you guys are interested in to know the databases, so in my upcoming classes, in my Python classes going on in the IAC Rise, so I will explain you what is database there, and then I'll explain you how to integrate the database with the Python applications, right? So I will discuss that if anybody who wanted to know about database and how to work on the database and the use of RDBMS. Okay, so so uh, so I consider, guys, by chance very high level idea you have, whether you know, otherwise the actual intention here is to just spawn the database. That's the only thing, or to launch the database. So this is a service we have. Okay, and in my case, in my Mumbai region, we don't have any database OS or instance and services running here. Okay, so if you want to launch any services, so there's option called create database. Okay, so if I click here, they ask you which method you want to use, right? So standard create or AG create, right? So let me go for a standard create, right? um, so here, guys, they give you options of engines. Engines, technically they are talking about which databases you want to use. Okay, which product you want to use. You want MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, or MariaDB is again based on MySQL only, right? But nowadays they have a different community altogether. So which database you want for this setup. So my plan is something like this. Or let me, guys, give you very high level idea or a small use case for this. And this use case that I'm going to discuss right now, this take this use case as one task from my side, or one homework from my side, if you want to implement. So you can do in this way. And guys, this is a very commonly used task. Okay, but it's good to practice this task, right? Or try this task, I can say. So what you have to do, guys, you have to launch one EC2 instance that you guys know how to launch. On the top of EC2 instance, configure the Apache web server. Okay, you guys know also how to configure Apache web server. Okay, and after configure Apache web server, install one program called PHP. Okay, because my plan is to put some PHP web pages or website here. And now then after, you just go and create some PHP pages. But this time, guys, don't create the PHP web page or PHP application from your side. If you go and search in the internet, there's a lot of PHP website available in the market. And one of the great PHP applications that is available in the market, the name of that product is called WordPress. So WordPress is one of the very famous PHP application pre-created available in the market. Okay, and this is the web app. And the use of this web app is to provide a facility to their user or to their client. So any client who connect to this particular web app, so this web app, guys, will ask them to create account there. And after you create the account, this app will ask them that using my app you can create articles or the blogs. So normally in the blogging side, WordPress is the application we use a lot. So we search WordPress code in Wikipedia. I'm so sorry, GitHub. Um, so you get, guys, some link here, and some from this particular link you can download the PHP code. Okay, and after download the code, PHP code, there's a pure PHP code index.home page you have, and copy in, or maybe they give you the idea how to copy this page in your web server. Okay, but it's pretty straightforward. Just download and copy there. Okay, so so till here, guys, thing is pretty straightforward. There's nothing critical here. But just go and check the version, right? If you are downloading the WordPress code, just check which version of PHP they are comfortable with or compatible with. Okay, because PHP we have version 5 or 6, 7, all right? So just go and check the version of the PHP. Otherwise, maybe a lot of features might not work. Okay, but guys, here why I'm discussing this, because this is, let's say this is one of your instance having the IP address 100, for example. Okay, and this instance is launched by you, or obviously if launched by you, so it is managed by you. Okay, but if you talk about this application over here is called WordPress, right? What the challenge what the requirement for the WordPress? Okay, so whenever any client create a new account in the WordPress site, or they will write some blog, or they do some tagging or something like this, right? WordPress, guys, behind the scene store all the information in our database. So WordPress need a database. Okay, and if you need a database, you have to again install one more operating system, and on the top of the operating system you have to install one database program for us, or database service for us. And WordPress, guys, normally need a database server known as MySQL. So MySQL is one product, and that the WordPress need to store the data. Okay, so technically what I'm talking about, while installing or before you use the WordPress, right, the site and used by the client, WordPress asks you, or this application asks you, can you please provide me the IP address or the URL of the MySQL database server? And normally, guys, in the database server, this URL is not known as URL. These are known as connection string. So can you provide me the connection string, right, where the MySQL is working? For, let's say in my case, let's say MySQL is running in IP 200. Okay, so you have to provide. So if you don't provide the MySQL URL or the string to the application won't able to install. And without installation completely, obviously client won't work. Okay, so in this scenario, in this IP 200, either you install your own issued instance and set up your own MySQL, or what can you do? You can ask Amazon and say, can you provide me a database as a service? Okay, for the MySQL, and they say yes, we can. And for this, we have to use RDS as a service. So RDS service name, inter-service concept they implement is database service, and which product you want to use, that will be again your requirement. You want to Oracle, MySQL, whatever you want. So guys, to do this task, okay, so finally what I'm showing you today, how to set up the MySQL with RDS. That is so simple to do because nothing fancy here. Just you can think it's one click and the entire database they launch for us. Okay. But after launch, lots of things will provide you in terms of management. What are those? We will discuss. Okay. So that's what we are doing here. So I am setting up the MySQL services here. Just click in the MySQL. Okay. And so they say this is the version of the MySQL they have right now. So it is all depend upon the version. For example, normally we do in this way. If your PHP developer has created a code and this code support MySQL version 5 or version 6 XYZ, so that version you have to install. So if the version is not compatible with your application, or normally guys this application is you can say is a front end application, okay, or this is the backend databases. Okay, you can use this term here, right? So whatever front end application, right, or your server side application support the version accordingly, that particular version you have to install it, right? So I'm just installing any random version here, but you have to choose, or maybe let me use 5.7 because 5. Version of MySQL is very famous or very much compatible with multiple different applications. So I'm installing this particular version over here. Okay. Now here they give you sorry, here they give you option that you are installing this uh, MySQL for production use cases, or just for testing or dev and test environment, or you want to just test and you want a free tier uses, right? So how you want. Okay, so if obviously guys, if you go to free tier, in your free tier account this service will be free. But if you go to production it will charge you. But the good thing is, right, they will set up the entire high availability setup for you, right, with the consistent performance. And guys, consistent is a very great topic, is a huge topic or big topic. Okay, so anybody who by chance know databases, so they, you guys know consistent or evenly consistent or other things also, right? Or maybe lots of the concept is there, right? So I'm not going for that discussion here. But if you go to production, they will set up the entire high availability setup for you. Okay, so in our case I am going for free tier. Okay, just for testing our current existing application and do some hands-on. That's what we are doing here. Otherwise, if you think for the real production world, right, you can go for production one, right? Here they're asking you a database instance name. You can say this like you can think it like your OS name. So this is MySQL one. I'm just giving a name here. Okay, so MySQL one is just a name of my instance. Okay, master database name. So but always guys, so you're going to configure MySQL database. And so if somebody want to log into this database, either you log in or your DBA guys log in, or somebody from the PHP application, they want to store something or retrieve something, they have to log in. And for login, we have to create a user and we have to create a password. So if you know MySQL, then in the MySQL is a command called create a user or grant privileges. These are the commands or options we have to use in the MySQL world to create a user. But if you don't know, that's very much okay. Amazon is give you this graphical tool and say, if you want to create a master account or admin account, just go and create it. Okay. So in my case, I'm giving my admin account name Vimal and some password I'm giving here. Okay. Some password I'm giving here. So it will create one admin account for you that has unlimited power in your database instances. Okay. So instance size. Okay. I did pretty simple because MySQL or Oracle, these are the sub product. And if you want to install this product, you need a OS. If you need a OS, you have to provide some RAM and CPU. Technically you don't have to install, but Amazon will install for you. But you have to at least tell that how much RAM and CPU you want to provide to your instance. Okay, so that's what guys they're asking you. So what is the total or which type of instance type you want to provide. If you guys notice here, there's only one option come up. It's called T2 micro, right? There's no other options come up. Why? Because we are using a free tier here. Okay, but if you go to production, okay, obviously this will come with cost, right? But if you go for production, the other options come up. All the options come up. Okay, so because according to Amazon, in the personal world, these are the very commonly seen instances they use. And again, if you notice, guys, nowadays Amazon guys has done one more small thing. One more small thing. um, um, Technically, if you know about a concept called performance tuning, it's a very big topic altogether. Performance tuning. So in our servers, let's say if you talk about Linux servers, okay, so in our server, right, same hard disk we have, storage, same memory we have, same CPU we have, okay, but for different purposes we can optimize our hard disk, optimize our memory, or optimize our CPU. Okay, this code tuned for different for different requirement. So technically same storage. Let's say you have a SSD hard disk or normal hard disk. We have a RAM of let's say 4 GB. Some two core CPU have with some threaders support they have, right? So technically in our server we have options, right? For databases, we have a different kind of requirement. For a normal file system we have a different requirement. For running our core application we have a different requirement. So same storage, same memory, we can tune. We can tune to optimize the performance of the app, or to optimize the performance of database, and to optimize the performance file system. Okay, or maybe small files, big files. So there are a lot of concept, guys. Maybe if you guys, I don't know if you heard about if you heard about dirty pages, or if you heard about what I say, a huge page, or TLB, memory pages. Okay, so there's a lots of concept there, right? That we use to optimize our instance. So same hard disk, if you tune according to your final requirement, okay, they will perform in that context. Okay, so I'm just referring you one program here just for your knowledge, nothing special here. There's one program by chance from Red Hat, it's called RH44. Is one of the most uh, powerful program in this domain, a most advanced program. And advanced program. This is purely based on performance tuning, right, of Linux OS from physical virtual cloud world. And if you see, guys, this I just want to tell you, there's for memory they have a different tuning thing. For storage we have a different. For file system we have a different. For virtual world we have a different, right? So there's lots of uh, tuning parameter available, right, that we have to tune our server. Okay, so one of the most complex training, or one of the advanced training available in the technical world. Okay, and I was the first one who passed this exam, even though recently I also clear latest version of our 442 version 8. That's a different point, and but very very interesting. So anybody who are from this domain of performance and tuning, highly recommended program, right, for you. Okay, so I'm saying this because if anybody from this domain, right, they know performance tuning is not the simple thing. Tons of things we have to do here, right? Now what Amazon has done for us, so let's come to a main point. So Amazon has provided automatically, right, or created a categories of pre-tuned instances. Okay, so after they watch, or they see the historical information, right, or maybe by looking at the multiple use case for the client, because you guys know almost every company is the client of the Amazon, right? So by looking at their requirement, so they create a different categories. Okay, and they say if you will go for database, so I will provide you instance. type. And that instant type obviously means RAM and CPU or maybe hard disk. Okay, maybe obviously a network also. Okay, network card or network also. So that instant type is pre uh, tuned for their workload. Okay, so you have to tell you are using for databases, you're using for file system is like EFS or NFS or iSCSI or XYZ. So what is your final requirement? Okay, so that is the reason. If you see here they are giving you instant type called M5 large, M5 extra large, and nowadays guys they has categorized this guy with extension called DB. It is like T2 macro. But DB M5.4 extra large, this one instance type, right, is pre-tuned by planned by Amazon's guys. So they have a different a rack available, different computers available, you can think, where they were 16 V CPU, this much RAM, this V network, and this is just a name, right? So maybe maybe if you guys notice guys, like in a very simple thing, just for example, if you use Samsung mobile phone, all right, 2 GB RAM might be become is might be very slow. But same if you use 1 GB Apple iPhone, right, you can see 1 GB will give you very powerful performance. Okay, so it is all about how we tune our internal hardware or plus the OS. Some this called tunable parameters, how we tune those things. Okay, so maybe this look like 64 GB, but there's so much tuned in terms of performance for performance for the databases. Okay, so that's what I just want to tell you. So this much information might not be so much important, but I just want to set the context in this way. So finally guys, what I'm talking about, that is a reason if you launch any instances, right, if you launch any instances very quickly, if I go here, if I go here, and if you guys, I don't know, have you noticed this part or not? So in the EC2 instances, if you launch any instance, if you launch any instance here, here they give you a lot of instance types. Instance type. Here guys they give a family name. Okay, and what I mean by family? So if you guys here, they have a lot of families. Okay, so what is your requirement is, okay, and if you see guys, these families has start with some T or A or C or I or M or R, something like this. Okay, so technically they're talking about we have created a lot of instances and they keep on enhancing, or they can keep on coming with different new families maybe, or new generations maybe. Okay, let's say go for all generations. Okay, so T means it is for general purpose. So if you have general purpose, just launch the instance for testing or just for some development purpose, you can go for T. And we have a C, that if you want to go for some high computing system, maybe for C, for memory system M, or something like this. Okay, so there's a lot of different instance start with a number, and this number has some meaning. If you want to see the meaning of this number, what and how these instances are being tuned for which purpose, what is your final requirement, just go and check the Amazon document, they will update you. But as and when we uh, these requirements come up, I will keep on explaining you also. So that's the reason guys I was talking here about this stuff. So this instance type is okay, come from the class called M class. Okay, and and if you guys see here, they are so much optimized, they will give you a lot of memory. So this called M class, right? It doesn't mean they're going to see you as they don't doesn't give you CPU and networking, obviously they give you, but they are mainly optimized for the memory. Okay, but if you go for memory optimized other instance also we have, they are more optimized than for in memory, it's called R or X classes. Or if you go to bustable classes, there's a different thing, right? So what is a bustable, there's a maybe one small discussion we have in the upcoming classes. Okay, but technically if you see here all the names start with DB, it means these are the instances optimized for the databases workload to meet your processing power and the memory requirement. Okay, so It's all depend upon your database, because database is a big world, right? Depend, guys, how you want to configure and what kind of application you want to use. You want to create cache layer or XYZ, there's a different point, right? So this much knowledge, information, I think is enough for this part. But don't worry, guys, about instance types. We have some more discussion in the upcoming classes. Just wanted to update you. Nowadays, they have given a lot of categories for us by AWS. We otherwise, if you go to a little bit older account, okay, we selecting ourselves sometimes is very it's bigger issue. But now they give you pre uh, planned or pre categorized instances here, or instance type here. So let me go for um, free tier. There's no option available, T2 micro. That is all okay for us, right, for do our demo. So I'm going for free tier. In the free tier, they're giving you this hard disk and this much adequate storage. And guys, behind the scene, they are giving this option, but internally they are creating one EBS volume. Okay, and this EBS volume they are attaching for us. So that's okay for us. Okay, storage auto scaling. What is the mean of this, right? Maybe in my practical videos, but very clear, nothing special here. They provide dynamic scaling support. Okay, initially they're giving 20 GB hard disk to your database. Okay, but there's some program behind the scene. They keep on monitoring your storage, because I obviously, guys, in the database world, okay, you in this example, your WordPress is keep on storing data here, or MySQL is just a program. It's just a service or server. This server, guys, behind the scene use certain storage. Now this storage maybe come from EFS. Maybe we can set up in this way, but here the storage come from EBS. Okay, so initially they're giving 20 GB EBS storage to you. What is EBS, you guys know, but there's some program uh, provided by AWS. It is not the facility from the MySQL. So guys, again, if you configure MySQL by yourself and managed by you, so you have to also monitor your storage, or maybe some third party product you have to use. They keep on monitoring your storage, and after your 20 GB storage full, you have to increase the storage size. It's called scale, or they scale with maybe manual. But here they're giving a facility for auto scaling. So they keep on monitoring 20 GB storage, and if they find this 20 GB storage full, they automatically increase the storage, and they keep on increasing. So we don't have to worry about, guys, about the storage issue also. Okay, so this is one extra facility provided by RDS services in the MySQL, so we don't have to worry. Otherwise, if you go to our own managed services, this part we have to do, or we can normally in the database world. In the database world, we get the storage from some storage team, and storage product has some options of auto scaling. There's a different point, but these are different protocol altogether. It's not MySQL. So maybe SAF or GlusterFS or any other storage tool available in the market, you can use these guys to and ask them to auto scale. So there's a different point, but you have to ask somebody, okay, or you have to integrate with somebody else or some other team or other tools. But here, everything, whatever we need in the MySQL, is completely managed by AWS. That's what I'm talking about. So we are enabling the auto scaling. Okay, and the maximum size they reach is 1000. There's a maximum size, the support is 16. Okay, but here I'm just setting the constraint that's called threshold. We don't allow about this. Maybe because of the cost, right? I don't want to increase much. And there's some region of performance also. If you give one single hard disk a lot of storage, there's a technical reason for this that will also degrade the performance. So for us, maybe because of performance or mainly because of the cost, maybe maximum size I'm allowing for auto scaling, means automatic increasing the size is 1000 GB. So that's okay for us, right? Because we don't require this feature right now, because for us, for our practical, 20 GB is more than enough. Availability and the durability. Now, guys, this is a one great concept. Okay. So let me explain you what is availability. Okay. What is availability? So let me explain you in this way. Um, so technically, what RDS will do is a service. They launch one OS for you behind the scene. Internally, they are using EC2 services, but if you go to EC2 portal, you won't see any instance there because internally they are running for you. They won't show you this OS inside your EC2 portal. And after launch the EC2 instance, after they launch EC2 instance for you, they will use some automation script and configure MySQL databases for you. Okay, this thing guys is purely configured by RDS. And because this is issued instance, I told you guys it is compulsory. If you're launching any instance, this instance should be part of one of your lab, means subnet. Means in one of the VPC, they use one of subnet. Or let's say the subnet is a part of 1A data center or 1A availability zone. Okay, 1A availability zone. Okay. So here, what Amazon is saying, okay, because this is managed services. Okay. So everything about the MySQL, I will manage. Okay. How to store data, from where to get the storage from, because guys, I'm want to tell you, MySQL is just a product, it's a database service. Okay. And any database service need a hard disk or the storage, and the storage is never the part of your database. Okay. So they say I need a storage. So my AWS say I will go and get the storage from EBS or somebody else. Okay, provide to the MySQL or mount to the MySQL, same thing, or connect to the MySQL. Okay, plus any other things related to setup, creating the account, everything I will take care. Okay, but there might be possibility, my possibility, because you are launching this instance in 1A data center. But what if the entire 1A data center goes down? Okay, so I can give you a guarantee that entire setup of MySQL will taking care by me, and your MySQL instance won't goes down. Right, all the terms of security bugs and patches. Maybe this current version I'm using is 5.7. Maybe some kind of security issues come up, so I will go and upgrade and patch the security bugs and install a new version for you. So this everything again done by my team, you don't have to worry about. But if the entire data center goes down or availability zone goes down, in this case I won't help you. Okay, in this case your database instance goes down, and in my case, in this example, if database instance goes down, your front-end application, maybe e-commerce site goes down, because entire data is coming from database only. Okay, so it will be loss for your business and for your reputation. Okay, so what am I saying? Okay, if this thing fail, I won't help you, and finally your application will be non-available. But if you want to go for a setup uh, where you want, by chance, in any of the case, if entire data center goes down, my database uh, will be available. Okay, so I want my availability of my database, and that's called, guys, high availability. High availability, normally known as HA. So if you want to go for high availability, okay, so that you have to tell to the Amazon that Amazon, I want what you do, please provide me high availability setup. Okay, for MySQL instance. And in simple term, what you're telling to Amazon, that Amazon launch one more same exact copy of MySQL with again same storage, right, from the uh, from the MySQL, right, with same version. Okay, but this time launch this instance in a different subnet, let's say 1B or 1B. So launch in a different subnet. Okay, but it's exact copy. Because it is exact copy, it's exact copy. And so by chance one of the data center goes down, this will goes down, but I have a still connectivity, or this instance in 1B is keep on running. Okay, so something fail, my application will automatically will switch to this guy. Okay, so it's called failover. Okay, so if you want, to have a high availability, and if something fail, it will fail over to the next data center in 1B or maybe 1C. That's called high availability. Okay, and because we are launching this instance not in one single data center, even though we can also go for, like, we can launch two instances in 1A, but technically if you launch two instances in 1A, right, and 1A goes down, everything is goes down. Okay, so I want to launch one in 1A, I want to launch one in 1B or 1C. Okay, so that is the reason, guys, to call multi-AG. Okay, so that's what, guys, they're talking about here. Do you want a multi-AZ deployment? Okay, and the multi-AZ, uh, second one will work as a standby. So first one would be known as active, and second one is known as passive, or maybe you can say standby. If one goes down, then first one goes down, then only the standby become active, and it will become up. And guys, by chance, this is the capability of MySQL actually. So anybody who work on MySQL, so MySQL has a capability of HA. Okay, Amazon is just providing a services. They say we are managing for you. MySQL is not my product, or Oracle is not my product. Because Oracle, we have a rack cluster. In MySQL, we have MySQL with respect to HA cluster. Okay, because your database support this facility, and whatever database supporting, I can give that facility. So I can install two MySQL for you and create a MySQL HA, also known as HA cluster for you. Okay, where one become active and one become standby. Standby. So that's what we, guys, we have to do. Okay, but one more information I just want to tell you here is, right, if you talk about the connectivity here, it will work something like this. Obviously, guys, normally user or the client never connect to the database directly. Okay, if you very quickly, if you see here, Facebook, if you open, so user and the client, we always connect to the application. Okay, and this application is behind the scene, will contact to database and retrieve the data from there, or maybe this post coming from a database, or maybe number of likes coming from a database. Okay, so user never, guys, connect to the database. Application behind the scene go and connect database and retrieve the information. So it means it means, okay, the guy who write the app, let's say they write the app in PHP. So in the PHP code, they have to tell, right, where your database is running. You have to provide the URL there, or I can say the connection string there. Okay, so so in our case, if if the database is running in 1A, okay, and one more database we launch in 1B, okay, and let's say here, because they're two different computer, right? So so uh, let's say the IP of this guy is 100, IP of this guy obviously will be different, 200. So we have to update in my code, right? We have to update in my code that that the IP of my first active instance is 100. And if the 100 goes down, I'm going to give you a secondary IP, 200, and go and get the instance from there if the first is not connected. So anybody who ever done the programming, right, of a database of with the front end code or server side code like PHP or maybe Ruby or Java. So normally we use some exception handling there, testing connection string. We connect to first instance. If this goes down, they connect to second one, like this, right? So this is one of the way we can do. So again, it's not important, but I just want to tell you this is the idea. So in the code side, we have to update which one we have to get. But the most important point here is A will have a different storage and B will have a different storage because they belong to different data center. Okay, so technically, technically, let's say for 2 days we are keep on using IP 100, the main database, or I can say active instance for 2 days. Okay, and my applications keep on populating or keep on copying the data in IP 100, and where they're storing in this hard disk. Okay, so all the account you create, transaction you do, item purchase, inventory, everything you are putting in this 1A 100 IP database. But by chance you lose the connection or this database goes down, maybe your application somehow, okay, somehow connected to the next instance. It's called fail over. Okay, so failover happen and you connect to the next instance, and this standby system become active now. Okay, and now you start storing the data here. But guys, obviously you store data, but if you want to retrieve the data, whatever you have stored already in last 2 days over here, how can you retrieve? Because this entire database, or so entire 1A goes down. Okay, your data is actually, we store actually internal data over here. So how we retrieve it? So technically guys, here the role of HA cluster come into play. So because in the MySQL we have configured HA cluster. Okay, and one of the use of HA cluster of the MySQL is, right, whenever you store any data in the in the in IP100, IP100, right, this data stored in their hard disk. But as soon as the data is stored in the hard disk, the same MySQL will internally connect to 1B MySQL server IP200 and ask them to store the same data in their hard disk. Let me again explain. If you tell that we have some data that I want to update, who said? Application said. Or who tell the application? One of my client will connect to my application and say, I would like to update some of my information. So IP100 will go to their database and update some information, maybe your mobile number or maybe account or amount. Okay. But at the same time, IP100 also connect to, okay, not this application, IP100. The IP100 say I am active and 200 is standby or passive. So this is my responsibility to update this guy. So IP100 will go to 200 and say, again, update the information in your storage. So technically, okay, my application will always connect to IP100, or whatever data you store, update, delete, it will be exactly copied, or I can say the right word called sync, sync with sync with your active system. Why we are doing this? Because obviously we don't know. Maybe after 1 second or millisecond, the IP100 goes down. Okay, so obviously guys, this is not important, it's a small thing, right? So maybe in your application, this is a banking application, right? Banking application, or maybe you update your IP100 and say this is the total amount we withdraw. Okay, you update here, but as soon as you update in your main hard disk, and after updating main hard disk, you go down to IP200 and say, please update. But just as after you update your main hard disk, main hard disk, and as you wanted to go to IP200, that's that point in time, just in millisecond, nanosecond, your instance goes down, or your entire setup crash, entire data center crash. Okay. So 1B never come to know, and the hard disk never come to know your account has one amount has been withdrawn. Okay. And your IP200 will still using the older copy of your account details. Okay, so it's a very, very risky thing. Okay, and that is a reason, guys. I'm not again explaining, this is a very long topic actually, but that is the reason, guys, we have to very much worry about a concept called consistency. Okay, and if you want a consistency, okay, your only RDBMS system will provide to you. Okay, so here I'm talking about, normally we have two different kind of databases, RDBMS or NoSQL. Normally NoSQL, they don't provide a consistency, but if you go for RDBMS, there's a concept of consistency, either in one computer or maybe if you're a group of computer like cluster. Okay, so so technically, if you store update anything in 1A, okay, so they give you a guarantee, somehow there's some mechanism, right? I can't again explain you mechanism right now, but there's some mechanism here where they say I will give you 100% consistency. Not 99.99.1, right? 100% consistency. So there's a mechanism for this. After I update one A data center like IP100, or then I update 200. Okay, And after 200 also updated, then my final process will done. Otherwise we can do rollback or a lot of things is there. So so technically, if you go for HA cluster, like in MySQL, they give you 100% consistency. Okay, but don't worry guys, these are the topic is not at all the part of, or this concept is not at all the part of AWS training. This is a pure database concept. Okay, anybody don't know or anybody not able to understand, don't worry, in my some of my database classes I will explain you if you want to join that classes. Okay, but I just want to tell you this is also one thing. And if you want this setup to have one computer in 1A, one computer in 1B, one is work active, one is work standby, and because this is a HA cluster, so this is the internal responsibility of HA to give you a consistency, or it is also, you can use one term called sync. They can help you in syncing the database. Or when I use the word sync, means if we update in this hard disk, same time we update in this hard disk. Okay, you can think in the nanosecond or nano less exact same time we sync it or the update. Until both the time don't update, because there's a network delay obviously, but there is some mechanism who help them to sync on the at the same time. The technique provide the consistent consistency for us. So if you go to HA, they will provide a sync, or I can say the consistency. But how to set up this, right? Again, anybody who know MySQL, you have to set up this environment. A lot of configuration we have to do. We have to create a cluster. But if you go to database as a service called RDS, okay, just one click they will set up for you. Okay, so if you want to create a multi-agent deployment, means one more instance you want to do, and it's always good practice for the real production world, right? For testing, for development, that is very much okay, right? If some of the instance goes down, data is not real, fake, right? But in the real world, the data is the business for today, right? So if you want to create a database in the other data center available zone, you can use this option. But this option is only available in the production. Means right now, because I'm using a free tier, this option is not available. But if you go to production, okay, here guys, they give you consistency that I was talking about. Okay, so here guys, they give you a consistency. Okay, just go and select this option. Okay, so but I'm not going for the production here. Okay, but I just wanted to explain you the concept, and that's all. By the way, you don't have to worry about one click. They will set up the entire setup for you. They will launch 2 instances in your VPC, whatever VPC you will tell here. Okay, so you don't have to worry about. But what exactly happening behind the scene, I just wanted to explain you that part. Again, let me go to free tier. Now, next option. Now, the next option is connectivity. So, it's guys, but obvious. But obvious, which VPC you want to launch. Create new VPC, or the VPC that we have created, or the default VPC. So let's go for default VPC. Which VPC you want to launch. So I want all of my instance run in 1A, my 1B, but inside my VPC. Okay, and VPC, right? But if your VPC is not properly configured, if 1A is not properly connected to 1B, or you have some NACL, network access control list, okay, so a thing won't work for you. So you have to properly plan your security groups and other things also. Okay, and here they're talking about subnet. What kind of subnet you want to use? You can go for default, and we can create some kind of subnet group also. What is group? You can think right now just like a subnet. You guys know what is subnet, like subnet A, subnet B. But what is the meaning of group here? I will explain in some minute. But you guys know the idea, VPC and the subnet. Okay, now so do you want this instance will have a public access, yes or no? Normally, if you ask the same question to Facebook, Facebook, I know all of your information that we store here, we see here, are come from database. I can access your application or PHP application from this URL. Okay. Or I can also access all the information from database from this page. But can we have a direct connectivity? Can we have a direct connectivity to your database? Can you please provide me the IP right of your database? Okay, login password is very different thing, but can you provide me the IP of the database? So technically they want. Okay, none of the application guys give you the IP address of their database, even though they provide you. But you guys know, if you know the IP but you don't have a physical connectivity. Okay, so there's no meaning to know the IP also, because you won't be able to reach there. Okay, so guys, the good practice is in the terms of security, right, or other kind of management also, we don't have to provide network internet connectivity or public access to our databases. Maybe in some use cases you can go, you can do, but mostly our setup would be always like this. Mostly setup would be always like this. So we have a front end application here, let's say a WordPress. Okay, let's say running in IP 100, or typically we run this instance in subnet, for example, 1A, and we always make the subnet a public subnet. What public subnet, you guys know, the subnet that has a net gateway or routing table attached, and that give you internet connectivity. Okay, and we launch one more computer, MySQL, in different subnet. Okay, and subnet B, 1B. Okay, and this subnet is a private subnet. And understand one thing, guys, by chance here subnet is name is different, but maybe this time this subnet is running in 1A availability zone, and this subnet is also running in 1A availability zone. So in one data center, in one availability zone, you can launch multiple subnets, but we can make one subnet as a private, one subnet as public. Okay, why we are launching both the guys in one same AG or same data center? Because obviously, because my front end or my back end work together, I don't want they will launch in a long distance, and if you launch in long distance, they will have a they will have a network latency. I don't want this. Okay, so but why I launch Apache Server or MySQL in different subnet? Because if you because I want my subnet 1A to be public or my subnet 1B to be private. Okay, and why I want private? Because of security, the best way to provide security is to make the private. Somehow anybody know the MySQL IP also. But they don't have a direct internet connectivity because they don't have any kind of net gateway, so they won't able to reach to you. And for the business, the critical thing is not application is just a code, right? Nothing is stored there. If you lose your WordPress site, you can again launch, but if you lose your MySQL, entire data being stored. So for us, the most critical thing is database, right? I don't want none of my financial or banking or other internal information will be leaked to the public, guys. Okay, so for good practice, guys, we always do a setup like this. We always create two subnet, one is public and private, and all the computer that has a that you provide extra security, means you want to isolate this guy, put in the private world. And guys, I told you already, because both the subnet, if the belong to same VPC, so internally 1A has a connectivity 1B. So my Apache server will be connect to MySQL. That's what we want. I want my code will go to my database. And that is a reason. Okay, normally hackers, they don't directly attack to the databases, because they know they might be genius. I'm talking about the hackers or crackers. They might be genius, but they know they don't have a direct connectivity. So hacking anything that they don't have a connectivity is impossible, right? So they always try to find the bug in the application, and from the application they will try to attack to the SQL world or MySQL world. So if you guys know, SQL injection and all those attacks is always happen on the top of application. So the PHP application has some bug. So by finding that bug or vulnerabilities, they try to attack this guy. Okay. So just wanted to update. This is also uh, so it is always good to safeguard as much as you can. So these are the best practices about how to create subnets and private and public. You guys know. Okay. So why am I again explaining this part to here? Because here they're asking you, do you want to run this my SQL in public world? I say no. So it is a good practice to do. Okay. So a good practice to do, but but it is also very important, guys. Not I say important, but for us for today's practical, what I'm going to do. Okay, my plan is something like this. From my laptop, okay, I would like to connect to this database server because my laptop is there on the internet. So from my laptop, if I want to connect to this database, obviously I want database will have a public connectivity. And obviously for public connectivity, one more thing we require, we have to first put the database in the public subnet. Is one thing that has a net gateway. Plus we have to provide public IP also. Okay, so that from my laptop or from outside world we can connect. I'm doing this just for demonstration purpose. So from my laptop I can show you how to do the connectivity. That's the only uh, right now use case. But 99.99% guys, we always want our database to be in the private world without having a public IP. But there's one more use case. If you think, okay, if you think instead of a laptop you have your own premises application running, okay, some application running in your computer, in your computer, okay, but the data you want to store in the database running in the AWS world. Okay, that is also use case where you have to provide public IP or public connectivity to your database. So it's very interesting. Okay, your application running in your laptop and your database running on the AWS cloud. So by chance anybody who are there in my CKA training, means my Kubernetes training. So this is one of the demo I would like to show you guys in my Kubernetes, where I will launch one application in our own Kubernetes environment in a pod, and database I will launch in the AWS. And what it will see guys, your application will run in the Kubernetes world in your own premises, means your own laptop in your own Kubernetes server. Okay, but but they keep on storing or retrieving data from the database running on the AWS cloud. So I will show you guys, but at least those guys who by chance not part of my CKA training, but at least they know this is also the can be one of the use case or one kind of implementation you can achieve here in the AWS side. Okay, but we have to provide IP or public IP here. Okay, otherwise, how my application will connect? Okay, so maybe so I think is those reason. If you want device outside of VPC, right, then you have to use the public. So in my case, I am using public, guys. And guys, this is the instance they are running. So instance will require firewall. So it means security group. Okay. So do you want to choose exit security or create a new one? That would be your choice. So I'm going to create a new security group. So let's say my security group for MySQL. Okay, so I'm going to create a new security group here. Now here they're talking about which availability zone you want to use. So they are giving this service in 1A or 1B. Okay, so I am in the Mumbai. So by chance this free tier service, whatever they're giving right now, it is not in our hand. So they are giving this service right now for the free tier in um, uh, 1A or 1B, or because it's a free tier, so they don't have a HA facility, right? High availability. So only one instance they launch. Yeah. So managing this instance, they will take care. We don't have to worry about managing the instances. Okay. But if the 1A goes down, right, they will they say now this is not my issue. right? I can't do anything if my data center goes down. You will lose the availability, right? So you have to properly plan it. So technically, this is our duty to proper plan, right? Do you want multi-AZ deployment or not? Okay, but here I'm not going for multi-AZ deployment. Any other important configuration? This is the database port number. So guys, MySQL, I told you, is just a is just a program. And guys, every database has their own port number. Obviously, we got a port number because somebody will connect from outside world. So MySQL guys by default work in this port number. Like normally in Oracle work in 1841, Postgre work in 5432. So every server normally have their own port number. So if you want to change for some reason, you can change, but typically there is no great use normally to change the port number. So we are going for the same port number. Okay. um, Database password authentication. So why guys, I will talk more about password authentication right in my IAM part. Even though very high level about IAM we have already discussed, but we'll discuss some more thing about IAM in my future classes. Okay, but this great thing guys, multiple different authentications is support. Kerberos also they support. There's a great thing, but in this training guys we are not going to discuss Kerberos, but it's one of the powerful way to do the authentication, right, with the help of tickets and token with TGT server. So very interesting topic, right, but we are not discussing here. Password authentication means okay, anybody who connect to database, either you connect or PHP application connect, they record login and password, or because they're using password here, right, obviously with the username. So that kind of login and password is called password based authentication. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. Okay, but other alternative method we have, but we are not discussing here. So I'm going for by default option here. Additional information guys, this is purely about um, the management of your databases. Okay, so first of all guys, they're talking about initial database name. So again, anybody who ever work on any databases, for example MySQL, so MySQL just a product name. After you configure the MySQL, you will have MySQL service or server running, or you can say my database server start. Okay, but inside this database guys, what we are doing, we have to store a data. Okay, we always store data in one box that's called table. Okay, and those by chance who don't know about a database, think table is like a file. Those who by chance don't know database, okay, and we always keep the table inside one folder. And guys, in the database world, the folder is known as actually database. So without having database or folder, it is not possible to create a file means table, or without having table, we can't store the data. Okay, so that's what they're talking about. They say after you MySQL configured by us, do you want to create some folder or means database here? So yes, I want to create. So let's say MyDB. You can give any database or folder name. Okay, so in the future you can just go inside and create some more, right, depend upon the use of the application, but we are going uh, for this database name. Okay, and guys, there's a lot of concept in the database about the parameter groups, right? We can control the internal parameters of the databases. So right now I'm not discussing this part, but if you want, we will do a quick discussion on this part, very related to database customization, you can say in simple term, right? So this is a parameter, but we can go and create our own parameter groups over here, and some more options group here to do some uh, parameter changes in the database. So every database has their own way to customize some of the part. Okay, but we are not discussing this. This will be more related to database, right? So I'm skipping this part. Backup. So imagine say we will keep on doing a backup for you. You don't have to worry about. Okay, and they're doing point in time backup. You guys know what is point in time snapshot. We already discussed. Okay, so behind the scene, I told you already. Um, behind the scene, they will use one storage from EBS. Okay, who will create the EBS storage? Amazon will create. They will attach this EBS. So this will taken care by Amazon. Plus one more thing they do, from the EBS they keep on doing the snapshots. This has also been done by Amazon. You don't have to worry about. Okay, for backups. You guys know what is the use of snapshot. We already discussed. Okay, and and this backup they keep on sorry, they keep written for 7 days. Okay, so after 7 days they will you can increase the retention time here if you want. Okay, you also want to do monitoring, logging. So guys, when I explain you my upcoming class at CloudWatch, I will come back to this topic again. Okay, CloudWatch is the one who will help us to monitoring and to logging. But it is something like this. If you want to monitor the utilization of your CPU, RAM, network, other things. And plus, if you also want to monitor MySQL logs, okay, and MySQL log, one of the log they create is transaction log and other logs where you can see internal database related logs, right? So everything, guys, we can monitor over here. So I'm not enabling this part. Don't worry, we will come back to the screen again after we understand the CloudWatch. This topic is not yet discussed by me. You can also tell the maintenance window here. Okay, so so because you know what Amazon do, for example, right now the MySQL version is 5.7, and they find in this version of, let's say, 1.1, they find this version we have some bugs, security bugs. So obviously they want to upgrade to, let's say, new version point 2. Okay, and normally in the upgrade sometime we have to shut down the OS, or we have to restart the system, or we have to restart the instance, or we have to restart the services, right? So so that time when we upgrade and restart system, obviously that time we uh, either we lose the connectivity or thing may be slower. Okay, so Amazon is asking, I will do maintenance for you, just tell me your maintenance window. Okay, you tell me your maintenance window. So prepared. So I will always, when I want to upgrade something, I will always use that maintenance window. Okay, and whenever any upgrade need or maintenance need, I will always do. So it is your application need. If you think you don't have so much customer Sunday, or you don't have any so much customer in the midnight, you give those maintenance time. So their automatic script will automatically do the maintenance that point in time. In my case, no performance. So whenever they feel, again, there's some kind of AI behind the scene they use. AI means they check your older workload, and then they find you don't have a proper at that point in time you don't have so much load come up, they will do the maintenance. Okay, so maintenance doesn't mean they have to shut down the OS. It's depend upon the they have to just upgrade the program, right? And maybe it will degrade the performance. So because some extra operation is happening on the top of the OS, so that's what they are talking about here. Okay, and delete protection, let me enable this because finally they launch an instance for you, and while doing our practice, or maybe while we just go and check, and actually you might click on the delete button and they delete the entire database. So I don't want, because database, the one of the ec2 instance goes down, okay, my web server goes down, terminated that, okay, because it's come from the code, we can again copy the code, again run it. But for me, database server is very important. It's contain all entire data of my company, right? So I don't want, due to some accident, or maybe somebody use some automation script of Ansible or maybe Terraform or CloudFormation, right? And by chance somebody run the script and that script written that delete the instance. Okay, so I don't want in any of the cases my instance goes down. Okay, so this go enable. Yeah, we can disable the option in the future somewhere. Then we can go and delete. That's a different point. But it is about accidentally delete. Okay, so this is the option they give, especially in the database world. Okay, and one more interesting thing, guys, nowadays they start giving you, okay, about the monthly estimation. So whatever the instance type you select, instance type you select. Okay, in my case, it is a free tier. free tier. But if you go dev test or production or whatever type you select, RAM and CPU, hard disk and network card, the hard disk you select, they give you the overall estimation, right, monthly basis. So they say if you use this instance type, there's a total number of cost come per monthly, $2, $10, $100, and they will give you the total estimate cost in this instance type. Okay, in our case it is free because we are using free tier. Okay, so it is free. So that's all, guys. So a lot of options we discuss. Some of the options we skip because I will discuss those options in my upcoming some classes wherever we have to integrate the option. For example, CloudWatch. Okay, so that's it. Let's click now. When I click, guys, behind this in what they're doing for you, they are launching one EC2 instance for you, and on the top of EC2 instance, they are getting MySQL products. Okay, and and they're installing MySQL products right for you on the top of T2 Micro. But this is optimized for database, so it is same T2 Micro, but because of free tier, so we are using only for database, so they use T2.micro. But I actually explain you the instance types also, right? So it takes some minute to spawn for you, right? Okay, by the meantime, by the meantime let me explain you one more some more facility. But if you go internally this OS, okay, you will see they launch in one way, whatever selected MySQL they are launching for you, or, or whatever the VPC we selected, right, and security group we selected. Okay, so guys, let me go to security group first very quickly. So there's a security group we attach here. Okay, and in this security group, if you guys know what is security group, if you see the inbound rule. Okay, so inbound rule, guys, they automatically detected, guys, my current IP address, because Amazon come to know I am launching this instance from my laptop, so they think maybe in my laptop I am going to test my application, or I will have to I will have to connect this database from my laptop. Say they automatically detect my laptop IP. So if you guys know how to check your IP. So in my case, what is my IP? So guys, you can see this is my IP. Okay. So by chance, anybody who by chance know my login and password, they won't allow. First of all, how somebody know my login and password, but by chance, if you know my login and password also, uh, it won't allow, because only from this IP can connect to MySQL. And MySQL work on a port number 3306. Again, they use the protocol tracing. So it's a good thing. Okay, so they automatically create a security group for you. But you guys know, if you think you want to connect from anywhere in the world, just go and edit and change to 0.0.0, what you know. So there's one small thing I just want to tell you. They will done this part for us. Okay, let me go to instance again. Not here. uh, in the RDS. So they are again still creating, and if you see some more option here, um, there is a guy's concept called a replication. Okay, so what do you mean by replication here? I will explain you guys. It's called read replica, very important topic. Okay, but the some other things we don't need right now. Okay, so this is some more extra information about here. So we are giving 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU, 20 GB hard disk, and this is the database we have created. Okay, and this username and password we get from whatever password we set here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, okay, what I'm going to do here, uh, from my laptop, from my laptop, I'm going to connect to this database running on the cloud. Okay, and for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Linux machine. So I have one Linux machine over here. So let me use my one of my Linux machine. You can use Windows also, okay, but I'm using Linux because finally what I'm becoming, right, I would be work as a client, so that I can see the connectivity and do something on the database and do some testing on the database. So I'm a client, and client would be your Windows or Linux or any of the languages like PHP, Python, or client would be anybody. But I'm making my client as a Linux operating system. Okay. And normally, guys, a client requires some kind of command or a tool or graphical tool, but I'm using Linux, one command called MySQL. So MySQL is a client side command or tool. And using this command, we can go and connect to this database. And obviously for current database, we need a public IP because I'm in my laptop and this is running in the cloud, and we need a login and password MySQL, and I know my login and password. so so this is my username and password I know. Okay, so let me guys show you how to connect to this guy. So for my laptop, and guys, if I able to connect, okay, so it means you have a proper connectivity of your database, and the entire database is managed by AWS. Everything is connected. Now in the future, we can you run my application in my laptop, or I can say in my premises, on premises, or maybe in Kubernetes or some other environment. They will also have a connectivity. So right. So what I'm doing here, I'm checking my IP address just for ENP03, and I'm using putty from my Windows. So because I have to put copy paste something, right? So I'm using putty program, I can say, and so from Windows I can connect to my Linux system. Let me minimize this guy. And yes, so guys, this is my Linux system running in my laptop. You can also think it is your system running on premises. Okay, 1 minute. Let me change the color and the font size. Okay. So guys, in the Linux, normally we have a MySQL command available. So guys, here there is no error command available, and this command by default connect to local MySQL server. By my computer, I don't have a local MySQL server um, available, because I don't want local MySQL server. So I want this command will go from my laptop and connect to AWS database server. Okay, and before this, guys, by chance in your system, if you're using Red Hat and CentOS, right, or maybe other OS, if the MySQL command is not available, then we have one software called MySQL client software. So MySQL, 1 minute. Sorry, MySQL. Just go and install the software. Okay, so maybe guys, you might know yum command. Okay, you can use this command. It will install the software for you. Okay, the software for you. So this software will provide this command to you. Now what we have to do finally, nothing special, right? I'll tell my MySQL command that we have one user called Vimal, ask their password. Okay, and by chance this database is running in some of the host, and I'm going to give you the IP of that computer. And by chance, guys, the IP of that computer is this one. So still they are creating. Let me check. Maybe they might have a spawn for us. So this guy instance they are launching for us, and if you click this instance, okay, now if you see in some minute the instance is up. Okay, and they also show you guys one very very simple summary that only 2% CPU they're using, nobody is yet connected. Very simple high level information they talk about this instance. But if you go down, right, they give you here the connectivity, and here they give you endpoint means the URL, or I can say the IP address. And here also, like in data in my load balancer, they also give you they also give you the host name instead of the IP address. Okay, so they give the host name here. Okay, so I will use my host name here. Okay, and if you have any other port number, you can write the port number here. So in my case, the port number is not changed, is a by default port, so you don't have to use the port number here. Okay, so if I run this command, and if this command give me error, okay, error that is it is not connected. So this error may be because of two reasons. One of the reason is that my laptop don't has a connectivity to this OS, maybe of internet issue or maybe of firewall issue, security group. Or second challenge may be because MySQL is a client command, and this is the MySQL server running on the AWS cloud. They might be these two tools might not become compatible, because randomly I'm using some version of MySQL client and randomly I'm using MySQL server. Some of the version might not compatible with some other version of server. Let's see. So I'm giving the password here. What a password I set of email account. Oh, so that's nice, guys. So if you see, guys, there is no error come up, and from my laptop, or I can say on premises or from your data center, you have a connectivity of MySQL. And this MySQL server, guys, right now this is my laptop, and this MySQL server running on the cloud. Okay, so this is one quick test of connectivity I've seen, and can show you one more thing, guys. If anybody know MySQL, it's called SQL language. We have a command called show databases command. So this is SQL query or SQL command, I can say. And what you will see here, you can see one database already pre-created. Okay, MyDB. Why you see MyDB here? Because we had created MyDB database. Okay, over here, MyDB. But if you go inside MyDB, you can think it's like a folder, right? And so in the SQL world, if you want to go inside this MyDB, you can use MyDB command. So use command MyDB. But inside this, if you want to see the term of files we have means tables, we don't have any tables. But anybody who by chance know SQL, they can use and create table here. Let's say I'm going to create Linux World student table, where I'm giving integer your ID, uh, or maybe character, your name, or maybe varchar, your remarks. So guys, whatever information you want to store, you can create some table here. Char, varchar, whatever the support. Maybe you have to give some size here. And this is the way it work, right? So this is the command, I believe. So create table. So guys, this is a pure MySQL command, but this is the command actually. If I'm not wrong, integer char, varchar, remarks. So this is the command, right? Spelling right? Varchar, VARCAR. I'm missing something? No, I believe. 1 minute. It's pretty straightforward. I always use. Actually, sorry. ID, integer, name, varchar. Oh, actually, while explaining, I just keep on tabbing. So, but base for command is nothing fancy. Yeah. So table has been created. Okay. Inside table, you can store the data. But technically, all this operation is purely a database operations and the command. So we don't have anything in the database. So in table, but we can store it. So whatever you storing here, whatever you're retrieving here with this command, everything is storing in the EBS volume. And Amazon is keep on taking the screen a snapshot of this data. And if you do a high availability means multi-AG support, multi-agent support. They keep on sync this information, right? And you can think parallel, but right, what is called sync with 100% consistency with the other data center. If entire data center lose, you will get your data, same data, and with a ongoing connectivity, though they automatically do failover for us. Okay, so let me exit from this guy. So now I come back to my laptop again, but if you want to go to database again, you can do. But typically guys, we create database not to our use normally. Same URL and login and password we provide to our application like PHP, like WordPress example, or maybe to Python or Ruby applications, right? And they will go and store the database there. So anybody who know database connectivity programming, right? They ask you the database information. That's called connection string. So this is what the connection string is, right? IP address, port number, and the database name, right? So that's what. So finally, guys, my database is running properly. There is no challenge over here. Okay, let's see some more thing we can do and see in the database. Okay, so this is my database, guys. And if you click, okay, there's option called actions over here. And there's one more option here, guys, called create a read replica. Okay, read replica. So what is read replica and what is Aurora? So Aurora is one of the kind of database is been, you can think is spawned by, is created by AWS guy only. Okay, so we have a discussion on Aurora also. Maybe in the next class we will discuss. Okay, but what is a read replica? Let me discuss this part. Okay, so what is use of read replica? It is, guys, a different concept altogether, right? From HA, high availability. Okay, so let me explain you guys the use of a read replica. Okay, but before this, let me go and create very quickly, all right, of the read replica. I just click on the create replica. Replica means a copy. Copy. Okay, and here they ask you, do you want to create a one copy of this database instance? Okay, so it is something like this. What actually I'm doing, so in my case, guys, we are running with one MySQL server. Okay, and in MySQL server we have some database in some of the storage. Okay, now who is normally connected to database? Your application. Okay, so application, guys, is always connect to MySQL server, and obviously guys, MySQL server running in the OS, so they connect to this OS. OS will give the connect to MySQL, and MySQL will go inside the storage, hard disk, retrieve the data, and provide to you. Okay, but what kind of information, guys, you store in the MySQL or databases? Normally, a lot of information. For example, if your e-commerce site, so you're putting the information about your products, maybe, or maybe how much product you have in your data warehouse, or sorry, in your warehouse, or how much product purchase or sell, or all those things, right? So depend, guys, business to business, right? Lots of information you put in your database world. Okay, now what happened? Okay, in the database, what we have, for example, we have this table. So in this table we maintain that we have one item, name this one, in this month, let's say January 2021, this item has been sell or or purchased by this price or this one. So item 1, January 1, price is 100. Same item, again 1, January 1, again purchase. So some information we store here. Okay, so normally what I'm talking about here is, right, your database contain lots of data. This, that is called database, and this data is very important for lots of company further use cases. Okay, so in the company we have a different BI tool, BI team, business intelligence team. Okay, they use certain product for BI. Okay, for example, Tableau or MicroStrategy or maybe some kind of other scripts they use. So what they do, okay, they will go to this table. Okay, try to analyze the historical data base or historical information. What happened last month? Which item we purchased lot? Which means technically they're talking about they try to analyze the business. Okay, or they by this information, by analyzing this information, right? They they will try to predict the what gonna happen in the next month, which item we have to come with some one by one offer, something like this, or which item we have to decrease the price, increase the price, and what kind of offer we have to put those guys. And nowadays it is like a on the fly. Every minute, if you see in the some traveling side, your flight tickets is keep on increase decreasing, right? So on the fly they have to take the decision. So some team or maybe some tool or some kind of AI, machine learning, right? A recommendation engine, association engine, that lots of thing is there. A lot of different team, lot of program is keep on checking this database every second. Okay, for what? For analyzing it, so they can predict something, they can take some business decision, they will they will do some other things also. Okay, so what I'm talking about, a company has created this application, right? So that final the user from the internet, for example, let's say this application is Amazon, right? Amazon website, e-commerce site. Okay, so for internet, we connect to Amazon.com to purchase some item. Okay, they show you all the item or whatever account you created. Okay, they will or whatever thing you purchase, they keep on they create one profile for you or one table for you where they keep all the information about you in their databases. Okay, so this database, guys, or this database storage, or this database server or storage, we actually created for this app, or we actually optimized for this app. And we optimize for the RAM, we optimize for CPU, hard disk, network. So this application will very quickly store the information or very quickly read the information. So I can say they very quickly write the information or they very quickly read the information. It's called IO speed, input output. So normally MySQL server, especially I'm talking about the production world. So if this system is running for production for your company main application, right? So we optimize the server, hard disk, other network operation for IO for great speed, read and write. Okay. But you know what happened? Let's say, let's say just for example, in 1 second, this server or this hard disk, we can read 100 things in one go, or 100 things we can write in one go. Okay, so it means the application in one go, just for example, can read 100 thing or 100 character, 100 word, for example, in 1 second. Okay, but in the parallel, other team in the company that is not related to your clients, for internal clients, but other team in the company who is taking some business decision, BI teams, analytics teams, machine learning teams, AI team, or reporting team, they also want to create reports, what happened this month. Okay, marketing team or a sales team has to create a report, total item purchase, business done in this month, right? So they have to also get the information from the same database. Means their application of reporting, AI or other things, again have to connect to this database, and obviously they have to obviously go via MySQL server. And if they keep on coming every hour, every minute, I told you guys some of the decisions we have to do on the fly. Flight tickets is keep on increasing, decreasing. So so we have some decision we have to take continuously, right? So every minute, every second, this application is going to this app. If they're going to this app, it means they are using read capacity, or maybe because they keep on going, so every minute maybe they are consuming 80 times or 80% IO read capacity. So only 20% will left for my application. So finally my application will use lesser capacity, so it will be impact the final sometimes you access some site and you submit some form, and they keep on moving, they keep on waiting because my server maybe goes down or they are busy in some other activities. So technically what I'm talking about, it is always a great practice, guys. Don't allow any of your internal team application connect uh, directly to the main production server and their storage, or I can say production instances. It is not at all the good practice. Otherwise, the applications keep on. This application managed by different team, different developer may write. The developer maybe write some buggy application. They keep on coming, and they unwanted impacting the performance of our production application. It will overall impact the final business to us. Okay, so what normally we do as a good practice, right? Because my entire team need, right, how they will create a report or how they will take a future prediction. So what can we do? Okay, we can go come with this approach is, in my production system, what a MySQL server we have, okay, what are the data they store in the hard disk. So this entire instance access we can give to our final app. This is the only app that is connected to the internet, guys, will access this instance. Okay, but because my internal team like BI team or some other team want our data, what is going on. Okay, so what can we do? We can create one more exact copy of MySQL with same hard disk. Okay, and asking this MySQL server again, okay, to keep on copying your data over here. Now this same concept I already explained you HA, but there's a one minor difference. And guys, this is a point where everybody confused. Okay, so the same thing I always explain you in my failover right now, today. It's called high availability. But here we have different, one small difference here. So difference is, right, this is my main MySQL server running, same copy I launch. Now it is your choice. It is your choice. This instance running in 1A, you can also launch this guy 1A and 1B. There's a different point, right? There's a different point. Because here I'm not looking for the high availability or multi-AZ. Okay. So why I'm copying this data over here? So this is the different computer. This is a different OS. This is a different hard disk, different network card. So I will ask all my BI team, my reporting team, other machine learning guys or analytics guys, and ask them, if you want to get any report analyzing, right, just go and keep on reading from here. Just keep on read from this hard disk or from this copy. And guys, if you create some copy of somebody, it is also known as replica. Read from this replica. And because their use is to read, right? Obviously, guys, I don't want my analytics guys will update. Because if some item purchased 10 times, that's they want to see 10, right? They don't want to update the information. So if you want to analyze something, analyze means you have to always read. There's no meaning to add or delete or update. So I'm asking this guy, this instance is only for read. This instance is mainly optimized for read. And this is the exact copy of my production database. Okay, but this computer is not the standby. Is not a standby. Means if my main production system goes down, okay, so my application won't able to connect to this guy. Okay, won't able to connect to this guy. It's called failover. So this computer is not meant for standby. It is only for read replica. So my other team, sorry, other team will use this instance, use the applications to read what is going on. Okay, but there's one more interesting thing you guys may be asking, if it means what are data we are updating here, copying here, we have to copy here. Answer yes. But if we keep on copying here, it also impact this OS or this program in the production system, right? And that is the reason, guys, what can we do here? Because normally in this computer, in the hard disk, this system or this instance is actually used by analytics guys. So if analytics guys will get some little bit older information of 5 minute or 10 minute older, that will be okay, right? Because in analytics guys, we don't have to be mm, very much exact information, because this is just a analytics, right? we don't have to get, if you say this month my sales go 10.1% or 10.1.2%, is the same thing, right? There's not so much impact, right? If you talk about overall, or maybe normally allied guys will, not every time they do, maybe after every day, evening, or maybe every weekly they do the analysis. So I can tell my main computer product system, okay, whenever you you think you're free, or I give you some time span, that point in time just go and copy this guy. So don't copy at the same time. Okay, guys, this is one of the big difference between high availability and a read replica. Okay, so this is the guy is called async. Copy with the asynchronous. Means whatever copy you have right now, you will have a real copy or right now exact copy with you. Okay, so you keep on copying after 5 minutes or whatever you think there's some kind of program or thread running behind the scene. Whenever you think this, you have that time, just go and copy there. So your read replica will always go a little bit behind with your production system, but very limited information, right? Otherwise, they are almost the same. Okay, so so technically, there's two concepts. One is high availability. Again, in high availability, also we launched two server. Both the server has the same hard disk, same copy. But main thing is the one launch in 1A, one launch in 1B, and both has the exact copy, every bit to bit. How they do with the use of concept called sync. But read replica is a very different concept, look like same, but a very different use case, I can say. Where my other team want the same copy of my production database, like BI team. So here we can go for async. Means I don't want to impact the performance of my production system. So this is an async is one kind of way to copy. It won't impact whenever you think you're free. All right, you have a capacity available. Just go and copy. So it's something like this. So that's what guys they're talking about. So do you want to create a replica source? Means what is your replica source? So I will say this OS. Okay, 1 minute. So I want this OS will be the source. Means this OS will be the source. Read replica. Okay, so guys, read replica is a different concept. High availability, or I say multi-easy, same thing, is a different concept. Look wise, they are same because both have the system has a in both the concept we have to launch two computers. Both will have a same copy of the database, but the final use case wise they are different. Uh, that's all. So read replica. So from this source, I would like to launch one more computer. Let's say this is my uh, read replica OS1. Okay, which region you want to launch? Now it is your choice. I'm launching in the Mumbai. You can launch this replica other region also. So guys, it's again very good use case. Maybe your main BI team is sitting in the Singapore. So your main database running in Mumbai because almost your client is from Mumbai. So giving them the less latency because application running in the Mumbai. So you find database also running in Mumbai. So that latency will be very less. But your reporting team is sitting in Singapore. Okay, so you can create a one copy in the Singapore. Okay, so their tool will read the data directly from the Singapore because the application may be running in Singapore. So they will have their latency. And behind the scene, Amazon will copy data from Mumbai to Singapore with their internal. I told you initially, Amazon has their own global network, fast, ultra fast fiber optic network. So they use their network to copy data from Mumbai to Singapore. Okay, again, because they are launching the same one more server. So just they're asking the same thing, the server type, storage class. Again, they have all the things. You also want a high availability for this guy. Okay, so you can go for this. Again, this read replica also high availability. So one of the read replica goes down. We have again one more read replica. So my VI tool will connect to this guy. So we can create a high availability for my replica computers. So I don't want. Okay, do you want a public connectivity? So let's say yes. Okay, because maybe my BI tool is running in my some buddy's laptop. They want this instance to be connected from outside world. Okay, which available on, they will automatically select the port number. Everything is same. Right, everything is same. There is no SS difference. Okay, and because, guys, if you notice one thing, they are not asking the login and password here, even though this is a new computer they're launching, because this is exact copy. So what are the login name, password, databases, file, tables, right? Everything they copy from one computer to other computer. Which is a exact copy. Copy means a replica. Okay. So let me create a replica. So now they are creating a replica for you. An interesting thing is, guys, now they are creating a exact copy of my MySQL, the same database, same table, whatever I created here, data, a login, a password, and they initially they log in the MySQL configuration, then they're copying the entire data to Singapore. Okay, so that their BI tool will use the login and password and use it. And obviously, guys, we will don't share our own login and password. So in the MySQL, we can get multiple login and password. Every login and password will have a limited access to certain table, certain information, certain feature, or certain databases. So don't think that we have to provide our login and password. We will create more login and password for those guys, for other team members. Okay. So because this guys, we are doing cross region read replica correction, right? So they take some time, because I told you guys, if you copy one hard disk, internally, you know what they're doing? Internally, they are copying this hard disk to this hard disk. Right now, this hard disk is in the Mumbai, this hard disk is in the Singapore. Okay. So you guys know, I told you this practical manual in EBS. You have to take a first snapshot, you have to copy the snapshot, and from the snapshot, you have to create EBS. So they take some process. So you don't have to do here. I'm going to say I am doing for you. Okay, because you are doing a read replica in the cross region. Let's go cross region read replica. So we will take a snapshot and will transfer to the destination result. So it takes some time to copy here and there. Okay, and maybe takes several hours. In our case, it won't take several hours. Okay, but it's all upon depend how much data you have already in your production system. Okay, production system. I just want to introduce you guys one tool here. Okay, a very powerful tool. Okay, very limited guys in the world know about this tool, but I can say almost all the big company in the world, top company in the world, top newspaper, top media, top social media company, Facebook, everybody use this tool. Okay, in this context, in this concept. So what Amazon is saying, if you are, if your source is this source is 1 terabyte in size in database, or or maybe 1 petabyte in size, or one some GB in size, so it takes maybe hours or day to copy. It means if my some team of BI required to have a data so that they can get a report, so they will get a data a report of very older data. Okay, so multiple guys have in banking. I have worked on banking application, right? And as a consultant or as a trainer also. So this is very commonly you issues, guys. They say I have data of some 16 terabyte in one bank. I just want to reveal this bank. So some of the top 10 bank come in the category, and they say we have some 16 terabyte data, I think, in the financial information, right? They have, and they say it takes somewhere around some hours, actually I think 6 or 7 hours. They say it will, when we create a replica copy, it takes 6 7 hours to copy. Then I can provide to my other team, BI tools or BI teams to analyze on and to create a report. Okay, so they will always get a very older data, or sometimes it take 2 days also, right? So So there guys, I introduced, and they was also running, and they are very happy, and even the top company in the world, they're using this tool. So what I'm talking about, if your data source where you have the data, production data, maybe in 1 GB in size, or 1 TB in size, or 1 PB in size, we have some tool available in the market, okay, that give you a facility, okay, to provide this, I can say within a minute, okay, and they can create a multiple replica for different team members. And every team member will work on those replica their own way. They have a time frame, rollbacks, hundreds of facility we have. I worked at that tool a lot. Okay, maybe some of your company also using that tool, but very limited guys know this tool because this is used very high end. Okay, this tool is called Delphix. Okay, so one of the top tool in the market in this database world. So it is not database, but you can integrate your Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL with this database. So it is mainly to managing the database, creating replicas, or timelines. So if you see the customer of this tool, so just for your extra info, I'm giving you this tool. But if you see the customer, and they write in one page here, in the one page they write all the top company in the world is our customer. So they say somewhere maybe they, but if you see and so out of top five financial institute, five are using this tool. Out of top five healthcare right, out of four are using this tool. So like you can see a lot of case studies where there is so I've delivered this thing in JP Morgan, uh, two or three bank, some other institutes, or some big companies also, right? So all the big, there you have a huge data. Okay, they are using this tool, very powerful tool. But challenge is there's no proper documents or training available for Delphix. So I know when I learned this tool, it take a lot of time. But yeah, I was one of the come in the one of the limited consultant and the trainer for the Delphix in the market. Okay, so let's come to a main point. So technically, we don't have to worry about Delphix. We just wanted to update you one for your knowledge. Okay, now they are creating a read application for you. Okay, and here they took some time because they're not using Delphix. They are actually copying. So read application is again in place. But finally, guys, what you will have, um, click on the view detail. Um, so this is just a warning. After some time you can refresh. But so what they're talking about here, after certain time, you will see one more exact copy of the MySQL come up. Here everything is same, the only the IP is different. So again, you can use your computer, use the same command, just change the IP address or the host name and connect with the same login and password. And after you log in, okay, what you will see, you will have a same database. Okay, and if you go inside the database, you will see same table. And if you by chance know how to copy data inside table, you can see the same database table data also. Okay, and what you will see, as soon as you update something in your main database, okay, you will see automatic it will be copied here, or I can say replica here. You don't have to worry about. Okay, but why we are doing this? Only intention is to manage the performance. I don't want my other team, my company will have a direct access to a production system. Okay, otherwise it will impact the IO or other network performance of my database. Therefore, database is one of the critical unit for any business. That was the core intention over here. Okay, this is one thing. It takes some time because I use cross region replica, but it will come up. Okay, but guys, one more thing I just want to tell you. Okay, in read replica, it takes some time, but in read replica, after you create a read replica, okay, there they give you option. Okay, to promote this read replica as a as a as a main MySQL as an independent system. So after you create a read replica, you can say this is my read replica. Okay, now I would like to promote this guy. Now this would be my independent MySQL instance. So maybe some kind of use case come up, they give you options to promote. So sometime we might use. So it's not visible here. After you create a read replica come up, then somewhere you can see the word promote here. So guys, this word is not coming here promote because this is my main instance. But after read replica come up in this portal, because they're still doing copying, you will see option here to promote. Okay, then it become replica means they don't have, we don't copy data directly. We always copy in the main computer. Computer will copy into the read replica. But if you want read replica will work independent from now, what data they have, we can promote to the main system or to main server. Okay, like this. So guys, lots of information I have given to you. Believe me guys, we are into the CSA training. Okay, in the CSA training guys, we don't have to actually uh, logically to go to that much level. Okay, 10% normally it means normally provided in the market. In this topic, the detail and multiple use case I explained to you are mostly theoretical, right? But I try to show you all the thing in practical so that you can get the idea how the thing is working. But there might be some more thing I haven't touched yet in this topic, but don't worry, I will guys definitely touch whenever the respective use case come up. Okay, so that's all about guys database services. By chance, those who are new in database world, they might not be able to link some of the concept properly, but don't worry guys, in my upcoming class of Python ISC Rise, I have classes on databases. Okay, or if you are the part of Earth program, we have a lots of databases in detailed discussion we have. So you guys become comfortable. Again, come back to this page, you'll see whatever you're doing manually. Now here, well, Amazon will give you managed services. Thing is so simpler for us. Okay. So that's all guys for today. See you tomorrow. Any queries if you have, you guys can ask me. When the main person database goes down, Sachin is asking, then application point to read replica. Okay, and then read replica will sync data on with the person activity. No, Sachin, it won't. Uh, uh, Normally, we don't link our application to the read replica. Read replica is normally we create for our different team, especially the analytics guys. So we normally connect read replica to the application of the analytics guys like BI team. Okay, but if you want, if production goes down, so we have to create one more copy with multi AZ. This is called high availability copy or standby copy. So application will connect to the second one, but it won't automatically. I told you in my class today, in the application you have to provide the the IP of that guy. Okay, so we have to or there's some other tool available market who will help us in service discovery or something like this, a different point. But normally in the application we can write second IP as a standby. So as a part of the developer, they will write this IP to you. This is one of the way you can I can say we can do. If guys, if replica goes down, we can create one more same way. We can create multiple replicas. Okay, and every replica we can provide to different teams. This can be possible. Now, Saket, we don't have a Python class today. Can we learn by chance Delphix? By chance, Rohit? No, but at least knowing at least this kind of tool available is again is very important, right? But might not be possible to use Delphix. So how we can manage sync if we have multi database setup? No, Poojan, we have to sync. Uh, uh, we have to sync with the same database, right? I don't know what you mean by multi database here. Okay, Oracle will sync with Oracle databases. MySQL will sync with MySQL database. If you're talking about syncing with Oracle to MySQL, is a different concept altogether. Okay, so for this we have a different migration tool available where to export and import and do something there, right? So there's a different point, right? But normally we do a sync within a same databases. So with right now, you just launch a WordPress on the customized setup for instances. But we might discuss about light sail maybe in my classes. So that time I will compare. So guys, again, I want to repeat one more time, right? Those guys who are first time hurting this term database, for them, this topic might be complex, but don't worry guys, especially I'm talking to a guy who are into earth. So this database topic will come from very basic, right? That time we will link it, every bit of this. Mohammed, I think threshold here while configuring database is, I think they come with related to storage. Okay, so I say I start my storage from 20 GB, and the maximum my storage will keep on automatically increase if the size of data grow. Okay, and maximum size it can increase is till 1000. So 1000 is maximum limit I set in my database. This is called threshold. Yes, Poojan, we will learn cost optimization in my machine learning classes. What do you mean by app on premises, Gautam? I means some application running in, for example, in my case, in my laptop, or maybe it is running in a company in your own personal database that is managed by you or managed by your team, managed by your company. I mean to say that is on premises. So Srinivas, RDS is not OS. RDS is a name of service, like EC2 is name of service, VPC is a name of service. So RDS is one service, and using this service, we can launch database server. But we don't have to configure. Everything is configured by AWS guys. Reggie, read when you create a read replica, okay, or when you promote, in all the cases they use the same, or in all the cases they use the same login and password. But we can change, right? You can change. You can log in with the admin account and change it. In Azure, how active connect to standby, and that's what guys Ashutosh AWS says. AWS say you don't have to understand the internal configuration of MySQL or Oracle, active or passive or standby. Everything we will do. But if you want to know how it works, then you have to learn MySQL first, right? I'm talking about how you have to learn MySQL as an admin perspective. So if you go to any MySQL training, admin training, they talk about how we create a HA cluster. Okay. So no, Anmol, here the auto scaling is in terms of vertical scaling. So if you have a 10 20 GB hard disk, and the same system, if you keep on increasing hard disk to 20 25, and same computer, if you're increasing the hard disk or CPU or RAM, okay, that's called vertical scaling. But if you keep on adding new computers, right, that is called horizontal scaling. So here they are doing auto scaling in the terms of vertical scaling. Yes, Prajwal, we have MySQL in Earth. There I will explain you MySQL from very basics. So HFS from MySQL DB same as no web hub, right? Cluster is a very common term. You can see you will listen this term multiple time. Kubernetes cluster is a different thing, right? It is for container management. Database cluster is for database management. Hadoop cluster is for HDFS for storage management. So per tool basis or per requirement basis, we have a different cluster technology and cluster tool available market in the market. So guys, I'll try to touch as much as we can, but don't worry guys, in my again upcoming class, the remaining query will be solved guys. That's all for today. See you guys tomorrow, same timing, and we'll see some more concepts tomorrow. Bye. Take care.